promise to help each other, celebrate the joys of life, and to console each other.
Hello. I am sorry, but I must interrupt this show. You know what it is? Hey, Ham Solo. It's time, baby. Low. It's time how we do. Hey. They said we said we hit. They said we said we on. They said we said we strong. They said we said we go. We say that you heard right. 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 They said we said we hit. They said we said we on. They said we said we strong. They said we said we go. We say that you heard right. We say that you heard right. We say that you heard right. We say that you man. I swear that it's imminent. I've been going so hard on my penmanship. About to go in and buy me a whip. And I pull that shit fresh off the dealership. I can leave you in red like an Xbox. Got me laughing at you like you red fox. Got you chasing Hot Wheels like a matchbox. EA running the game and it don't stop. Super cold like I'm playing for Blizzard. Got you all in my sights like Red Dead Redemption. Never gonna slip on my pimpin'. Better get out my way, bitch, I'm on a mission. Really ain't no competition. I'm steady grilling opposition. I'm get up and ready to win. They can play it how they play, but fuck what you say. I'm getting this money today. Last of us like a dying breed. Down the ride like a noble steed. Fatality moves, I make you bleed. That's on any game, that's on any screen. Shut up and give me your money. They said we so lit. Even if I take an L, we coming back just to show that we don't quit. They said we said we hit. They said we said we on. They said we said we strong. They said we said we go.
Yo, what's cracking? What's popping? Good to see y'all back again here on another episode of TSWS Gaming. This just so happens to be the Behind Them Sticks edition here with Brother Linc. Brother, I know we had a little time difference and whatnot, but we got through it. And if anybody has been here and watched the shows in the in like the past and whatnot, we know that Ham Solo, you know, he kind of goes all over the place with time and whatnot. So it ain't no thing. I got him here, though. He's here. He's live. He's ready to go. He's got the camera on. And I'm excited to go on ahead and talk to the brother. But please, Brother Linc, let everybody know, first of all, where they can find you. Go on ahead and do that first.
So, first of all, thank you for having me on the show. You know, being able to talk to you guys, talk to you over here and your audience. Talking about game shopping it up, but you guys can find me on X, Twitter. You can find me at a link to the past. That's my handle, baby. And then I'm on YouTube as well with the same handle. I don't do too much there. That's more for fun than anything else. And I do have a little side thing, gamer gear, on YouTube. So that's actually something I put more energy to. But that's something else that you guys can find me on as well, too. So I'm doing stuff out here.
That's what's up. I just like to show people what we're talking about as you're kind of talking about, just to kind of pay respects and whatnot, just so they could see, I'm on the right channel and whatnot. This is the kind of media that you're expecting to see when you get to those sites and whatnot. And I decided to throw up your Twitter as well, just, like I said, just to show a little respect and whatnot. But what's cracking, everybody? Thank you for joining us this evening. I see some people up in the chat that I recognize, and hopefully some people come up in here for the first time. But Drawn TJ, he comes through for the very first chat and says, let's get on the screen. He says, hey, next week, if you want me on Behind Them Six, I can do next Thursday at 4 p.m. or 4:30. And brother, I'm going to have to tell you, I have a schedule about a month ahead of time. So we're going to have to get together on the side and talk about that, and we can get something set up, because my next available appointment, I believe, is April 25th, which is a Thursday as well. So make sure you hit me up. Just hit me up on Twitter if you're listening right now, and we can definitely get that taken care of sooner than later. But we also have the Mars Zeppelin up in here. Thank you so much for joining. Hopefully you enjoy this. Hit that like button, share it out. If you enjoy the content after watching for a little while, hit that subscribe button. By no means is that like something you got to do, but I definitely appreciate it. And then we also got some Sunny Slim up in here. What's up?
Sunny Slim.
He says, my guy. That's my guy Linc right there. So he already knows what it is. I believe I've seen Sunny Slim in this chat before. I've seen
him. I mean, he's one of the legends out here on X. So
yeah, he all over the place. Doing his damn thing. So, but I appreciate all you guys for pulling up. I'm sure more people will come through throughout the time. But Link, I just gotta ask you, brother. Like like it's good to finally have you here, but as a brother that is, I'm assuming you're around my age. I'm gonna assume that. Like I'm in my mid-30s.
I'm older, baby. I'm already 55.
Yo, this
No,
man
that's a
is in
lie.
his
That's a lie. That's a lie.
50s.
That's a lie. That's a lie. That's a lie. I'm 41.
I was gonna
That's
say,
all that.
ain't no way this man uses for just for men. I don't know what the hell this man doing, sipping from the fountain of youth or something. He said 55. I was like, oh
You're like,
shit. But
oh
no, he said
Lord.
41 though. 41,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
fair.
41, baby.
So you've been around the block for quite some time.
Yeah, yeah. Kicking it longer than I thought I would. Sometimes, I went through a health scare myself. So thankfully, I
Oh
made it
shit.
through and I'm still here, baby.
Yeah, real life situations. Ain't no joke. But I do gotta ask you, like, so when you started out gaming and whatever, what was like the causation behind it? Like, how'd you end up with a controller in the hand for the first time?
So first of all, before I go there, before Mars keeps hating on me, shout out to the boy Mars. Gotta show love to him out there too.
You ignore my
Um,
message.
but check it out. With me, I mean gaming. I actually used to go by a different handle on X. And it was gaming since NES. So it was that, I started gaming since the Nintendo Entertainment System. That was the first real console that I had. And, I really don't think that I really like gamed before that, if I'm being honest. I think that was really the first time my dad bought me the system, brought it
So
home.
NES was the jump off.
Yeah, brother was playing it a lot, but I got my hands on it. That was my first love right there, the NES.
Oh, okay. The NES. I mean, gotta show some respect to that, man. That thing came through and changed gaming again from when it seemed like it was all falling and crashing down. So shout out to NES. Shout out to Mr. Shiv pulling up in the chat. Also, it's Tim. It's Timmy V2. Good to see you, brother. He's everywhere all the time, watching everybody's podcast and whatnot. So I appreciate it, brother. But my goodness, so just the A and B button, start, select, and the directional pad. That's all you started out with, and I'm assuming Mario was on that list because it was on every kid's, gaming library list. They damn near came with the console. So I got to know from you, what was like the game though that was not super like what was the game other than Mario for the NES where you were just like, yo, this is the joint?
So, I mean, look, like you definitely hit it off, right? Like NES is just that game that really kind of grabbed everybody's imagination at that time. But probably like one of the other games that I got, because I got a bundle at that time, and that came with Duck Hunt. All right, I'm out here with my little light gun,
Oh yeah,
playing
you
my
get
game.
putting in some work, you shooting.
That gotta shoot them up, and then the track and field. So
Oh,
with
this
the
man got
pad.
them fast fingers. Did you have the pad? Did you have the pad thing, or did you just use the controller? Oh, brother, your mic cut out. Oh, hold on a second. I don't know. Whatever you muted yourself somehow. Hmm. No, no. I think whatever happened, like the mic cut out or whatever. I had this issue the other time, so just go check your settings real quick. I had this issue the other day. It might be something going on with StreamYard or something right now. But
Is it working
yeah,
now?
we back now. We good. I can hear you.
And the tech issues trying to hold me back, baby.
Yeah.
But no, it was with the pad, and then my little because I've always been a heavy dude, like as a little heavy kid too. I did
Heavy in the streets. Let's go.
run that up, so I just sat in the chair and I kind of like pity patted my foot to kind of like really
He
beat
said my
everything.
foot.
That's how it was back in the day, baby. I will find ways to beat the game if I have to. All right, that's been my way ever since.
Man, you really put them feet to work.
That's right, always, baby.
Were you breaking them records?
Every record, like just first place all the way through. I found out the cheat codes. That's how I roll in life. Even till today. If there's a way for me to exploit or winning the game, I'm gonna do it outside of multiplayer, baby. You know, we don't do that in multiplayer.
All
Only
right.
single player.
All right, brother. So NES, right? So you came through on the NES. You got served on that console pretty well. You know, that appetizer platter was hitting. You know, you got the wings, you got the mozzarella sticks, you got the nachos. You was getting it in, you was eating and whatnot. But what was that console that felt like, yo, we doing 5 course right now?
Yeah.
What was
Look,
the first console that came out that had you just like, yo, I'm this is gonna be a problem right here. Yes.
yeah, I get what you're saying. Look, it was actually the Super Nintendo, Super
No,
NES,
just the very next generation. So
very
so
next
so,
one.
so, so that Nintendo, that NES said, "Real Joe ass right on in."
Without a doubt, baby.
Oh shit.
Yeah, like there's no doubt about it because look, when you grew up in that age, I mean, every system was like it felt like a giant leap, however way you looked at it, right? And for me, at least, the NES made some of my favorite games of all time. Like we're talking about Chrono Trigger was on there, Final
Mm.
Fantasy 3, which is actually Final Fantasy 6, you know, one of my favorites of all time. And of course, my absolute favorite game of all time, A Link to the Past, was on that system as well too.
Oh, the at right there. That's where you got the
That was
at.
it. That's the ad. That's why it is what it is. Like it was so perfect. So the SNES was just amazing all the way through. But I will say probably my biggest wow moment when it came to a console
Okay.
was when I went to Toys R Us on a
Mm.
demo and I saw Mario 64 for the first time. Like
Yo,
that
that
blew
was
my mind.
legendary.
Blew my mind.
Yeah, no. It was crazy, especially with it being on a cartridge. Seeing that so many consoles at that time, because remember the Sega was trying to do, the Sega CD. They were talking about Jaguar coming into the game. They were talking about the 3DO popping in. Panasonic Gold Star joint right there, and I believe the Magnavox even as
Yeah.
well. Yeah, so I mean, they had a lot of these different, different platforms trying to, say, we can't do cartridges no more. We got to go to we got to go to discs, and we get more space for the game to work on it and put more, memory into it, and then on top of it, we get that awesome audio quality. And Nintendo said, "Watch this." Nintendo said, "No, we ain't doing that. Watch this. We still making shit. We making the consoles cheap, but the game's gonna cost you." 'Cause
Yeah.
remember, those games are like $70.
Oh, for sure. I mean, they had to have like their own chips inside of it. Like you're talking about, they were almost like small mini computers that they were selling you in each different one. Like it had to have its own, like the cartridge was a whole as like memory unit on it, right?
Yeah, it had battery and everything in it. Yep.
Everything. So you compare that to this, that's completely different. But it is funny that Nintendo did unleash the beast that is PlayStation once they said, "Nah, we don't want your disc drive partnership anymore. We ain't
Yes.
gonna do this." And then PlayStation did its own thing. Well,
Mhm.
Sony did to the PlayStation.
Yeah, and they got cooking too. So I gotta ask you, like, during that period of time. So you said you were like just blown away going to Toys R Us, seeing, you know, finally getting a 3D Mario, right? And this dude's jumping all over the place, saying, the iconic hoo-hoos and whatnot. Like he's doing his thing, and the big old castle with all the pictures that you're jumping in and whatnot. Um, and keep in mind, they had some phenomenal Zelda games on the 64 as well. They had some other, great first party games, Mario Kart, Diddy Kong Racing. They had the wrestling games, on the 64. Those things were tough. You couldn't play those suckers nowhere else. WrestleMania 2000, No Mercy, NWO versus WCW versus NWO Revenge and whatnot. Yeah, you had the grip on there. So, Cruising USA, Cruising World, Cruising Future,
Ooh.
like those were the joints right there. So I gotta know, since you brought it up pretty much. at what point were you just like, yo, the 64 is nice, but I need this PlayStation 2? I need the
Um,
PlayStation as well. PlayStation 2 hadn't came out yet.
I'll be honest. I mean, around that time, that period of PlayStation 1 was a little more fuzzy. Because I want to say the big game that got me on PlayStation was probably Resident Evil. Um,
Oh, that
I
dog
kind of remember
that
going to a
glass, huh?
friend's house and then just like playing it and seeing zombie. I'm like, oh wow, this is crazy. And then when you had that and then Final Fantasy 7, like between those two, that was like my transition into PlayStation. Those were really my reasons. And then Gran Turismo was like the icing on the cake, because I became a racing fan ever since that. But I'll be honest with the N64, overall, I didn't really feel it as much. I think that a lot of people during that age range where I was probably like close to 20, maybe like somewhere between 15 and 20, somewhere around there. I don't remember the exact numbers, right? But once you start getting older, you start feeling like you're growing out of Nintendo property, and then you start seeing
A
the
little
cool
bit, yeah.
stuff that's on PlayStation. You're like, I need to go over there with that Metal Gear. Like, come on, man. Like they were just killing it at that time.
Yeah, it was also the time of the music disc being a big transition from tapes.
True.
Remember? So having a booklet full of discs was hot back in the day.
Absolutely. I
That
mean,
was
all
hot.
that helped.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And yeah, I remember going over like my boy's house and stuff like that. They pull out the little zipper case,
Yes, sir.
and they'd open up that booklet and have games, page by page by page, and then you keep going and it ends up being CDs of like music and like Tupac. We got Drew Hill, and we got all the old school joints and stuff like
Hey,
that in there, right? Like the
hey,
Foxy
my man's
Brown.
pulling out the big names right there. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man, I'm talking. Yeah, you already know, man. The 112s and the Ice
Oh
Cube,
man, peaches and
man.
cream.
Yo,
Yeah.
man, Next, Key
Yep.
Sweat, like LSG, like come on, man. Like you remember those old joints right there. I mean, the parents used to have that shit on repeat.
Listen,
So
that time was great. Like I think in music, right? So, like you said, the discs being able to have kind of a whole album full of not only music but your games kind of in it, because I couldn't afford having like multiple things that when I was younger. So everything got to fit in one thing, right? Like it's my everything. And then shout out to my dudes out in the corner, selling the bootleg CDs. Shout out to
right.
y'all. Y'all helped me when I was younger. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Back when you couldn't get a hold of like internet and whatnot, you get the burn disc from the homies
That's
out at
right.
school, and like at the corner stores and whatnot, they be selling that shit real quick. Like, yeah, I remember just copping a couple mixtapes from just random people that I never met, and I was like, man, this joint hot, and I'll never know who they were.
True.
I'll never know to this day who some of those mixtapes. I remember I was living up in Texas, man. I was living up in Fort Worth, Texas, funky town, and yeah, I got a couple mixtapes at a couple different gas stations, and man, those joints were hot, but I'll never know again.
Hey, fair enough. And I mean, look, I grew up in New York. That's where I'm from.
Oh man,
So I
every
used to
corner.
go to Chinatown because they had them on lock, like the whole rows of everything. It's like, oh snap, we eating good today.
Mm. Yeah. Y'all way more ambitious down there. Y'all got everything for sale on the corners out there.
Facts.
You could buy some deodorant.
Facts.
You get some deodorant out there if you need. If you smelling funky, you just walk around the corner. You might be able to, it might have been tampered with, but you can get it.
Hey, listen, as long as it does its job, baby, we good. All right. A little tampering, we still here, baby. All right. We still alive. We still here.
He said, if you got that low price, it's all good. I ain't worried about it. All right. So the PlayStation, so the original PlayStation was good. That kind of like, helped you grow up with gaming a little bit. It like, supplemented the kiddie side of gaming. And now you're, able to feel like more of an adult playing these more serious titles. Resident Evil was hot on that. The sports games were extra lit compared to compared to like the 64 with the weird buttons and that one analog stick in the center and the C buttons and stuff like that. They had more like movie type titles on there, like Space Jam, Jump Off on there. They had the Gran Turismo with the extremely realistic driving, is what it felt like back in the day.
Back then, it was so realistic.
It was my joint. I love that game. I was somebody that and I've showed this on other episodes before, so y'all just deal with it. But I liked imported games, and this was my favorite joint right here. I had Dragon Ball Z Legends. This was my favorite import joint that I ended up having. Final Bout was garbage. Speed Punks was another game that I absolutely loved. It was like Mario Kart, but for PlayStation. But it was a little bit more on the adult side, right? Like the jokes and stuff like that they tell in the game. But I just gotta ask you now, like, did you, after getting the PlayStation and hearing the announcement of the PlayStation 2 coming out, were you just like, you know what? Sorry, Nintendo. Or were you like, what the GameCube look like?
We're still here?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Oh, it seemed like your video froze for me. My bad.
No. I was asking.
Oh, okay.
What
Yeah.
the GameCube look like? Were you into the GameCube at all, or were you just PlayStation at that point?
So at that point, by the time the GameCube came out, I was already at the point that I was buying every system. That transition into moving into PlayStation 1, that was more of a, I gotta sell my N64 to buy the PlayStation, right? But by the time GameCube came out, PS2, I was buying all the systems, and I never looked back since. Like I always would get every system. Handhelds, I think like I might be missing one or two. Like I don't think I got the Game Boy Color. Yeah, I might have missed that, but I was jumping on everything, baby. So when that PS2 came out, had to be there. No doubt. Oh, actually, you know what? I did not buy the Dreamcast. That was one that I completely skipped on.
Bro.
Yeah.
Bro. We were on a good roll.
Yeah, I mean that was my boy. So like we actually went half and half because he bought the Dreamcast and all those games, and I got the PS with all those games at the time. So we was going like back and forth. But little did we know that his investment was going to be the one that didn't work out.
Damn.
But I remember playing them Shenmues, the crazy taxis, those were awesome times, man. And they had such great games, but it was that period of time that with whatever bad moves Sega made, with the PlayStation promising so many things, maybe making people, want to wait. It just didn't work out for them, right? But PlayStation 2 was absolutely legendary
back then too. Games flipping and all that kind of stuff. Like things moved a little bit quicker than they do now. Where like a game back then wasn't going to take 4 to 7 years.
True.
Like it was going to come out this year or the next year. like it was coming. It was right around the corner, and suffocating people with exclusivity deals and stuff like that. That was a big key. I mean, you talk about EA back in the day, and thinking about Activision and how they had to get from under Atari and stuff like that. And you see how Nintendo just kind of walled off everybody, and I mean they made success out of it where others failed miserably at it. Like you look at the 3DO, it had its exclusives and whatnot, and a few of the devs were just like, no, it ain't selling right. We need to get up out of here. We need so then you start to see your Naughty Dogs, your EAs coming out and being like, nah, we ain't fucking with 3DO like that. We gotta move to PlayStation. They making moves. So it was definitely interesting time seeing all that, and then the Dreamcast and its fallout. Although I mean, even with great games, still had a fallout. So it just so if that doesn't tell you how difficult that time was. I mean, I just don't know what else to say. But as for the PlayStation 2 in particular, I feel like you're old enough to ask this question. What was the weirdest shit that you played on PlayStation 2?
On PlayStation 2?
Yeah. There's because I mean there's a lot of great games, but there's also some head scratchers on there because there's so many.
Man, I honestly couldn't give you a good answer for that because I feel like at that time I was playing just mostly bangers, just things that I knew that were popular. When you're trying to, I only had so much money at the time, so I'm trying to make the best. What was that?
You said I couldn't afford to miss.
Yeah. Like, so, I would have those like all those magazines, that would come out around the time. And they give you the previews of the game because that's how you had to do it at that time. So whatever was the hottest, that's kind of the games I was jumping on. I didn't play many weird games. I mean, that's an interesting one. Yeah. Can't think of any. What about yourself? Do you have a weird game that you played?
Oh man, if I'm thinking of weird games for the PlayStation 2, because I mean I can think of one right off the top of my head for Xbox, and that's Leisure Suit Larry. Like that game was mad weird.
Hold up, I played that on PC though.
Oh, so you said you getting a little extra action or something like that?
Yeah, my bad. Look, PC. I've been playing PC for a very long time too. So a game like that, man, I played that on PC. Like probably all of them. They're like so ridiculous. And
I'd say for the PlayStation 2,
yeah,
Pimp My Ride.
Pimp My Ride. They had a game
with Exhibit.
Wow. I didn't even realize they had a game, bro.
Yes. Pimp My Ride, and it was tragic. You like there's be these parts where you have to drive like down an alley pretty much and flex your vehicle.
Wow.
So you have to like drive 2 miles an hour pretty much and make your car look good and try to get like props from people.
Nah, man. Yeah, that era right there, boy. If there were games like that, I was not playing it. And yo, Chips, why you talking? Why you talking this, man? I know where you timitate on YouTube and on X, baby. I'm gonna find you.
Oh man, what's it called? Ray Chi out here says, anyone played Pepsi Man? I played 7-Up for the Sega Genesis back in the day, the 7-Up game. Doritos Crash Course. I know you can you can still access that, I believe, on Xbox right now. Yeah, they got some.
I'm realizing that y'all been playing all kinds of games I never played. I'm just realizing that now.
Yeah, there was some stuff out back in the day. See 7-Up on Chim 6 says 7-Up on PlayStation was dope. There you go. So yeah, I mean there was some wild games out there, bro. I'm just saying,
man.
Jeff's Love Shack was my joint. I love that.
You're talking about games I never heard of, but you know what? I think like the weirdest games I probably played were from the demo discs. Like you remember them joints? Like they used to come with the PlayStation magazine. Like they'd always give you that demo disc with a bunch of things
and Wipeout on the disc, and they'd have like a playthrough level of Siphon Filter and.
You remember?
Yeah, absolutely. I even remember the Dreamcast demo disc where you get to play a little bit of House of the Dead 2, Ready to Rumble Boxing, Crazy Taxi. Yeah, man, I remember those joints. Those were dope. Those I used to love demo discs, especially once you get the system for the first time because you was broke and your mama maybe let you get one game. Because when they bought the system, they thought that was enough. And they're like, that was enough. You mean you got to buy games with it? And I'm like, yeah, I got to buy games. And they're like, yeah, you're going to play that demo disc for another 2 weeks.
Yeah. You see, at least for me, that age, I was already older. So I'm buying my stuff. But for me, what you described was my NES, SNES era. That was how I had to roll back then. Like I had one disc.
Games were not cheap.
One cartridge, and that had to last for a hot minute. That's why those
We're talking about
JRPGs came
birthdays
out
and
clutch.
Christmas.
Yes. Give me that. That's for the whole year.
Absolutely, absolutely. But luckily, some of those games were like forever playing games. That Super Mario, that Super Mario World, that was like a forever playing game. Your Zelda, so your Link to the Past, that was like Chrono Trigger. I mean, like if you were into some of the sports games back then, they had some great like Looney Tune games on there. Don't forget about like Aladdin,
Facts.
Lion King. You playing those games forever because you ain't never gonna beat them, like because they too damn hard.
Well, that's why I had to bust out that Game Genie, baby.
Yeah, there you go, there you go. You say you ain't killing me today.
Not
Satan.
today.
Not
Oh, you're going to
today.
keep trying to kill me because I got 99 lives, baby. It was going to be a while.
He said, I'm making this jump. But yeah, there was a bunch of dope joints on there for sure. I'm even missing a few. I know like Mario Kart, that was heavy back in the day. I used to love how they had like the 2-screen thing where it like showed like the flat thing where it shows like everybody on the course.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
then like it shows the third person view up top. I thought that was pretty hot.
Absolutely, man. I mean, like, look, like my classics from then too that you mentioned, the Super Metroid, absolutely made me fall in love with the Metroid series at that point. Super Castlevania 4, Super Double Dragon, man, all those games had super in it, and I loved it. That was a wonderful time, baby.
Yeah, that's how you knew you got that extra little graphical performance with them colors. Them colors was popping.
Absolutely, man. And
Yeah.
then when bringing it moving forward, that I think, once I started moving into that mature age, and then once you're in the PlayStation era, shout out to like the Capcoms, Konami's of the world. Those Metal Gears, like Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3, absolutely blew my mind around that period of time. Just so many cool games, dude. Man, Japanese developers were popping back then. Popping.
They were, and so now
They're still
that
doing
we're
things
kind of
now, but they popping.
yeah. There's still a lot going on. There's so many damn different ways to play video games though now. So it's very much to me kind of like the Spotify effect, right? To where there's just so much IP that nobody can focus. Because remember back in the day, it was like 106 in Park, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? It was like 106 in Park, BT, uncut, late at night when the parents ain't looking. Tip drills went nuts. Right now, fucking what was it called? You got your your Yo MTV Raps. Like everything was like very centralized back in the day, where it was like, if you didn't tune in at 8 p.m., you missed it.
Yeah, and I, funny enough, like you're bringing that up, that's why things like G4 TV used to work back in the day,
right?
Because that was kind of almost the only place you could go to see like a centralized gaming kind of centric content.
You couldn't get it everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's true. Once things are specialized and a little more rare, like you're gonna come and congregate, right? But like G4 TV came out again. There's just too many options now. Like they didn't have that special sauce anymore, right? So it didn't work out for them.
And they were playing kind of the like new day type of media card, where it's like trying to trick people into being all angry to watch the show, and it's like you ain't fooling nobody. You can't come back like that. That's not the right way to come back. You just you came back to the scene, and then you pissed everybody off.
Yep.
And everybody's like,
didn't work.
Don't let the door hit you. See ya.
Exactly. But it just makes you think in those times like how everything was kind of more of a congregation of things, right? I feel like even like with some games, when the biggest games came out, a lot of people were jumping on them. They didn't take that long to beat, like maybe 20, 30 hours were a lot of the games back then outside of RPGs. So,
right.
When you're younger, you have like a lot more time to play games. Fortunately now I see too many people just trying to talk about games. They don't play games anymore. They out here frauds, too many frauds. I'm sorry I had to get off that, but yeah.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. There's a lot of people that just talk about it because that just so happens to be the thing to talk about. I get it.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
They ain't got no real stake in the game. They don't really care what happens at the end of the day. If all this stuff, if PlayStation and Nintendo went away, they wouldn't notice.
Not at all. It's just to be a part of the convo. But and look, like shout out to you because like within this conversation, we're also kind of like bringing up the games, right? Like bringing up games that really matter, that were definitely part of my history, and then clearly, you're telling me a little bit of yours as well too, which is awesome. That's why we're here together, right? It's about games.
Yeah. It's definitely about games and just the enjoyment of the hobby itself. I mean, at the end of the day, we could have our own opinions on stuff, and we don't have to agree on shit. We literally don't have to agree on a goddamn thing. But at the
Right.
end of the day, if we're both sitting at the stadium watching the same game, we got to be we got to be happy to be there. You know what I'm saying? It's just like football. Like I tell people, it's literally just like sports. Like you hate the Niners hate you because you're the Raiders or something like that. And if you're sensible people, sure, you might argue and say that was bullshit. That should have been a pass interference or something like that. But at the end of the day, you both are happy that you got to attend the game. You got to both see your teams play, duke it out, give it a chance. And, if you don't win this time, it's fuck you until next time. And that's okay.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong, man. And it's so interesting growing up and seeing how because you talk about sports too, and like being a part of things, but in the end of the day, it's like everyone always had certain preferences growing up too, right? Every era we saw like the console wars back then, still going on till where we're at today. But back then it was just funny because a lot of the disagreement was more like at the yard, right? Like you just go to your yard or your school and everybody just kind of having some fun with it. But now it's gotten too big, baby. Too many people jumping on sides and you're never gonna meet them, but everybody's really upset. I don't know why they're so upset.
Yeah, it don't make any damn sense. But I tell you what, man, like what it should be to me is what happens at the end of games. You see the end of a basketball game, motherfuckers traded in their jerseys, they dapping each other up, they having a good time. They just got them beefing for the last 3 hours. And then they got and then they got enough energy after the end of the game to be like, yo, man, you fucked me up.
True.
I'm gonna get your ass next time. A good game, homie. Like,
Yeah,
you know
good
what I'm
game.
saying? Like they got enough. And see, I experienced that this last week at PAX. Because, like, I guess me and Bari weren't on the best of terms, but I went out with King David. He took he took us all out to this bar in Boston, and Persona and Jay Bari just happened to be there. We squashed that shit and had a beer. Man, I owe Jay Bari a shot right now.
Oh,
So,
how about that?
it ain't that deep at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? This is video games. We talking our shit. We might, say something a little sideways every once in a while and, catch a fade for it or something like that. But, I mean, if you really about gaming, you really about gaming, and real recognize real at the end of the day.
I like that. I like that perspective, and it's true. As long as we can do that, that's it. But look, I'm still gonna keep some enemies, all right? It just makes life a little interesting. I gotta have my enemies.
Sure. Sometimes beef keeps the viewers watching. and that's fine. That's fine. I mean, I even got beef sometimes with my own co-host, so it's all good.
Sam. Okay.
I gotta throw a little flavor out there every once in a while. But anyways, brother, so I gotta ask you the question now because you told me GameCube was meant for you during that time. You didn't purchase the Dreamcast because your boy had it.
Yeah.
I'm wondering because this was the opening generation for Xbox at the time.
Yeah.
Where were you at with that whole idea? Halo obviously became a really big thing. They also had, really like innovative hardware at the time with it like a console finally coming out with a hard drive instead of a battery like the Sega Saturn did. Like the Sega Saturn was pretty dope, but it came with just that battery and there's very little bit of space that you got on it. It had the, the ability to be able to listen to music and stuff like that. But I think everybody really loved that hard drive and not having to worry about getting a memory card.
Yeah, look, with Xbox when it first came out, I didn't put too much into it. I'm gonna be honest. It was just like another system. I'm like, I don't really care. But my wife at the time, one of her friends invites me over because they have this LAN party. I never heard of a LAN party. I said, "What the hell is that?" She's like, "Oh, they told me they're gonna play they're gonna play a game together, and everyone's gonna bring TVs. It'll be real cool." I said, "All right, cool. I'll
You're like,
go."
that sounds hot.
I'm like,
Everybody
"That's
bringing
cool. Let's do
TVs.
this. Yeah, let's go, baby. Let's have some fun." So I go there. I'm seeing everybody play their game. They're like, "Hey, you want to get in this?" I'm like, "Oh, absolutely, baby."
Facts.
I'm thinking I'm going to be the greatest thing out that since sliced cheese, right?
Oh, you
Since
about to
sliced
get
bread. That's what I thought.
you about to get them hands.
I thought wrong. I thought so wrong. I got destroyed like I've never been destroyed in the game like ever in my life. And since that was the day, I went the next day to buy an Xbox so that way I could play and practice Halo.
Said
So
I
the
can't let
next
this shit
time
slide.
they're not gonna do that to me. And next time I did better. They didn't destroy me like it was, but that was actually my introduction to the Xbox. And then probably that other real big game I remember, Splinter Cell at that time. Like that was just like those two games like absolutely like just grabbed me at the time. So I was like, I became an Xbox fan at that time. And then obviously like the Gears of Wars and everything else that came with it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm actually surprised. I mean, it's not the first time I've ever heard somebody say, the LAN parties, but I'm surprised that that's what brought you into the ecosystem itself. You got smoked up on the LAN party, and you're like, man, I can't rock like that. I'm a gamer, god damn it. Like I ain't gonna
Yeah,
let
at that
anybody
time.
embarrass me like that.
Yo, they did it to me in front of my wife at the time. I was upset. I said, "Oh Lord." I'm like, "This is what y'all do to me? Disrespect me? Invite me to your house to disrespect me?"
He's like, I
Well,
see why you brought me here now.
yeah, they had to show out. They're like, they started inviting other people just so they could show out in front of their friends. Like, when you join a game for the first time, like, like a shooter game, and then you start killing everybody, and it makes you feel good because you're like, I'm the best person in here. I think that's what happened. They called me
Oh
for that.
yeah. They did. They gave you that pool hall experience right there.
Exactly.
All right, so that was your introduction into Xbox and whatnot. During that period of time with the PlayStation 2 and the Xbox finally making its entry into internet play, I'm wondering, did you take advantage of that at all throughout that time period? Like seeing that you're like, you like RPGs, you like Final Fantasy. So, that Final Fantasy came with the screw behind modem and stuff like that you put onto the PS2. Did you rock with that at all, or were you just like waiting?
No, I did do that. It wasn't too much. I remember that time because I remember buying the thing. I remember playing Final Fantasy online. I remember playing one of those little dudes. I forget what they were called. I want to say they're called like a Toro. I could be completely wrong.
Oh,
But
I wouldn't know.
yeah, I played that. I bought the whole like attachment just to play online. I remember getting the keyboard for the PlayStation, so I had the big old like keyboard just to do it. I went all in on that. But talking about online play, like literally, it was Halo. Halo was like the game that kept me online. From Halo 1, Halo 2, Halo 3. That's about the time like at least from the Xbox online stopped for me because even the Gears, I wasn't really big on Gears. Gears 1, absolutely. Gears 2, I started falling off because once everybody started like really leaning into the shotgun, I was kind of done. I didn't like the shotgun play, and that's what that game became.
Yeah,
Like
shotgun disrespect.
shotgun. I'm like, nah, man, this gameplay ain't for me. But Halo, ooh wee. That was the good stuff, man. Sonny Slim, look at him. He said, "Halo, baby, let's go."
Yeah, he also said this.
Yo, Link, if you want to get destroyed in Halo again, we can make that.
Oh, see, yeah,
And he coming at me like
throwing
this.
shots.
Damn, on your show, you see what
Yeah,
people
man.
call me out like in
The
other.
corner and you and Sonny and Chips out here. They ain't got nothing nice to say.
disrespectful. But I know where to find them. I'll get them later.
All right. So internet was pretty much dominated for the Xbox side for you for a little while. Going into the 360 is what it sounds like, because you brought up Halo 3 as well. I want to go on into the next generation, which was the PS3 and 360. Where were you at? What was the games that were popping for you? Did you end up getting a Wii as well? Go on ahead.
Yeah, so definitely I got the 360. Funny enough, I don't really have too much memory of how I got the 360, but both getting the PS3 and the Wii will forever be solidified in my mind, because at that time I remember just driving by so I worked at a mall, and I was just driving by a Best Buy because it's on my way home, and I started seeing people that get a line, and I'm like, wait a second, they making a line now? This system doesn't come out until 3 days. What are they doing? So I got on that line right away because I didn't want to go that much further. And then from then I had to call my boys and be like, yo, you guys got to help me out. Let's do shifts. Like let's do this. And then that's how we ended up doing it. So all of us got like a PlayStation 3, and we camped out for like 3 days, all in like different cycles. So hey, I'll go home, I'll eat, I'll sleep, whatever, and then you come back. And it was a wild time in order to do that. And I always felt a little resentful, like at folk with money, because I remember ahead of me, like maybe a few spots ahead of me, was just some homeless dude. That's some rich guy. He paid him just to wait online the whole time through. I'm like, oh hell no, that's how it is with money. Like you just get a homeless dude to sit online for you for 3 days because he's gonna be sleeping outside anyways. I was like, yo, that's disrespectful, but that's how I got my PS3.
Hey man, he got to eat too.
He got to eat too, baby. So shout out to him. And then just with the Wii, I think the launches were similar, like around the same period. I don't quite remember, but I remember that one. I went the night before to a Walmart with my boy, so then we kind of like stayed overnight. But my boy wasn't planning on buying it, like he was just there with me to support. So now it's the morning. They're gonna start letting people in, and then some dude, probably another rich guy, because I used to live in kind of like a rich area. He comes around. He's like, hey, anybody want to sell this spot? Anybody want to sell this spot? And my boy was like, hey, I'll sell my spot. I was looking at him like, oh hell no, this man just made money by waiting over here. He got like $300 at that point just for waiting overnight because he had no intentions of buying the Wii. So I bought the Wii. He got $300, and then that was history right there, baby.
Yo, he finessed me. He was just hanging out with you and ended up. Yo,
the man made bread
because you lost money. He got money.
Don't worry, I got the Wii, baby, and that was great. Once we got the Wii bowling, I beat him over there too. I'm like, yo, let me make that money back from you.
Man, that joint back then was pretty lit. I did like the Wii Sports on there. It was pretty dope. Did you ever end up playing like the Zelda games over there on the Wii?
Yeah, definitely the Zelda. I forget which was the one that had the stick movement.
Was it? It wasn't Twilight. Was it Twilight Princess?
I don't think it was Twilight Princess. Actually, I don't even remember. I'm showing myself as a fraud Zelda fan right now. By the way, like I'm doing this right now live for everyone to see. But that was a long time ago. But I played the Twilight Princess.
Skyward
I
Sword.
forget which one it was. It was Skyward.
Ray Chi said Skyward Sword.
There you go. So that was the one I remember. Just moving around with the stick, playing with that.
Yeah, was that the one with like the bow and arrows and stuff like that too? That you had to like aim and shoot.
Yeah,
with
yeah.
The 2 sticks.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the one as well too. Because they gave you a pack that you had to put on the bottom of the controller to give you like more, I guess, movement capability.
Right.
I don't know. That was a while, baby. That was a while ago.
Sound like Richie saying you all right because it was the worst 3D Zelda game.
Yeah, and that's probably one of the only Zelda mainline games that I never beat all the way through. Because we did a Link to the Zelda 1, not Zelda 2. I never beat Zelda 2. A Link to the Past, absolutely. I beat that thing like crazy. That was like probably one of my favorites overall. Well, it is my favorite overall. Wind Waker, definitely beat that. Love that one. Ocarina of Time, absolutely. How could I skip that? Majora's Mask, I didn't really beat that one. That was too weird for me at the time. I'm sorry. Anybody,
Fair
any
enough.
Ocarina fans?
That was that. No,
Um,
no, that game was a little. Even the promotions of it was weird.
yeah. I've seen some of those videos back. Mm. Some people love it though. That's their favorite one, but I wasn't really the one. The Game Boy versions. But yeah, like Skyward Sword was never really one that I really cared to play. A Link Between Worlds, that was great. That one was in 3D. Absolutely love that one. Yeah, there were so many good Zeldas, but yeah, Skyward Sword didn't do it for me at the time.
All right, let's show a little respect to the PS3 real quick now.
For sure.
So the PS3, sure, it was expensive. I mean, I don't think anybody can argue that. But it did have some pretty cool features that were in it that were not in the PS2, like clearly. So now you can get the HDMI cable, which brought up your resolution quite a bit. It's like if you play the PS3 with just the composite cables and then you jumped up to HDMI, two different worlds right there, right? It also had the Blu-ray drive, which was pretty hot. Because it was the only game system with a Blu-ray drive. The Xbox 360 ended up having the HD DVD player. The PS3 also had the 6-axis capabilities. So if you got the games like MotorStorm and whatnot, you can turn the controller. You can steer with the controller and whatnot, which was kind of gimmicky, but at the same time, it was just like a new innovative feature on it. They're still doing that today with PlayStation with the haptics and stuff like that. They kind of have not gone completely away from those types of upgrades within their controllers and whatnot. They also had a way better media system, which the PS2 pretty much didn't have a media system at all. But they actually had a way for you to collect your music, your videos, your pictures and stuff like that. The PS and the most dope thing about it, which it was just the first versions of the PS3, is add the backwards compatibility as well. So you could play, your PS1, PS2, and PS3 games on it. Sure, it had a little bit of a slow start with the games, but the console itself, the meat and potatoes within the actual console, at the time, at least to your regular customer, it was like buying like a Dodge Charger with all fixings in it, right? It's a big chungus, but it was powerful.
Yeah, and that was only the fat that had it. I believe the 60 gig version had the backwards compatibility.
Yes.
And then I think it was 20. I think it was like 60 and then 21. But that one did not have the full chip for the full backwards compatibility. So I had to get the full one. I remember paying extra. I think what was it, like $600 at the time? Like I went all in just to make sure I got like that full backwards compatibility. But I mean, I'll be honest, like when I think about that system in particular, clearly things like the talk of the cell processor and how hard it was to develop for it, like those things kind of stay in my mind from a technical aspect. But in the end of the game, end of the day,
generation for that console,
it did, right? But at the end of the day, like it really just came down to the games for me because I thought PlayStation was making some incredible exclusives at the time. I feel like that was the real renaissance of the PlayStation exclusive, right? Getting those Uncharted's on there, like that series started to become one of my favorites of all time, during that period of time. It was just awesome, man. Like seeing the games,
the Resistance,
like Resistance 2. Absolutely love that game. I wish that would come back, by the way. That's like one series that I would love to see in the modern day age. But it seems like Insomniac, they kind of stuck in superhero games right now. Let's see if they make something different moving forward.
I'm gonna ask you real quick, just based off of that, and this kind of goes into today's kind of questions compared to back then. But like seeing that Insomniac did games like Resistance and had more of a versatile lineup instead of it being, cartoon character and then Marvel character, and that's it. Do you wish, or would you like to see? Oh yeah, and Fuse way back in the day. Can't forget about that joint. But do you want Insomniac to branch out further in what they're doing, and kind of like if you had to choose like a fork in the road and it said new games, Marvel games, you couldn't have both, you got one or the other, which side of the fork are you taking?
Look, in the end of the day, like, now that I am older, I think a little more business oriented. My mind thinks one way, my heart thinks the other. I would love to see more new IP from them. I would love to see kind of, them trying to find out something more creative that would come from them, right? Like just how we saw those the games that we're talking about. Um but in the end of the day, man, IP really sells. Like something like Spider-Man is going to grab a lot of attention,
Yeah,
and
it's worldwide, right?
it's those kind of things that, like, right now they're gonna come with Wolverine. Like that's in the top 5 most popular comic book characters of all time. So you're talking about giant IPs. And let me put it like this: I do want to play games with these IP characters as well too, right? Like I want to see great games, like a great Wolverine game. I'm really gonna look forward to that. So when I think about it, I do want it in the right hands, and I feel like Insomniac is kind of showing that they're doing like a really good job with the IP stuff.
No, they
I
could.
would
They
say
great.
only from interest to them, so they don't get bored, so they start doing their creativity. I would love to see a game that they do for their passion, but I like them right now with the IP stuff. I won't lie.
Okay, so I see what you're saying. You're saying you're cool with what they're doing. You're fine with them rocking with, the known IPs that are, these superhero characters. But if you could, you would say, yo, just do what you want.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, any creative at some point you might want to do something a little bit different, right? That's what think of what happened with Bungie, right? Bungie really wanted to do something different at the time, and Microsoft wanted them to just keep pumping out Halos. They had Destiny, right? They had to follow their destiny to do what they did.
Yeah, they were the opposite of what Insomniac was. Insomniac was cool doing what PlayStation wanted to do, but Bungie was like, yo, we want to do something else. We were kind of creatively bankrupt with that
Correct.
with that IP right now. So yeah, and it's a little bit easier for Insomniac in that situation because I feel like you'd have to be much more creative to try to make a story based off of a Halo compared to there just being so much lore behind Spider-Man to where it's just like, yo, I could just kind of pick the writer, like which version of Spider-Man do I want to make this time? Right?
Yeah, there's so much great like stories out there they can pick from, and kind of make their own. I like. So I stopped doing comics myself around the 90s, so I kind of like fell off around that time period. So anything that happened from then till now, I don't really know, right? So once they start like picking and choosing certain things, like for example, what they did with Venom in Spider-Man 2, I'd never really heard that angle before. And I'm not gonna really talk too much spoilers because I don't know who really played it or not. So I want to respect that. But what they did with Venom was something I never seen before, and I'm like, hey, that's kind of cool, right? I like how they kind of make things their own, and I can appreciate that while using some of the characters that we already know.
This might sound crazy, but I wish something like this would happen. I wish Insomniac would become bigger, become like a bigger studio under PlayStation, and they just have a superhero division, right? Because I feel like they're so creative and so understanding on how gamers want to play games that not allowing them to create something of their own volition is kind of in a way holding them back. Not saying that Sony's like doing that on purpose. They have a recipe, right? They have a recipe and they know, this brings, this calls all the boys to the yard, right? But but I think it'd be nice just to and it'd be kind of like a palate cleanser to get something from them that has nothing to do with Ratchet and Clank, that has nothing to do with Spider-Man or any type of superhero. I'd like to see them go into like making some type of war simulator or war type game like they had with Resistance, or I don't know, just do something fun and wild. Like we seen what happened when you let Sucker Punch try something new. You got Ghost of Tsushima, right? You stepped away from God, what's that game that I'm thinking of? Infamous.
Yeah.
Yeah, you stepped away from Infamous and you made something completely different in a completely different type of country, different set of rules, different set of, carrying yourself and fighting and stuff like that. Very innovative to the point where we're looking at games that are just coming out, Rise of the Ronin, being like, yo, this ain't Ghost. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
like it created a standard.
yeah, like let's be honest. That's one of the things that Sony Studio games do. They're very polished, right? Like they do a really good job at kind of leaning in, putting a lot of polish onto it. But in the end of the day, I mean, look, this is the modern day AAA development. A lot of things are risk, however way you look at it. So, sometimes telling them, hey, sure, go ahead, do your own thing, do something special. There's no guarantee that every game is going to be fantastic, right? So Insomniac might, maybe Insomniac does it and they don't quite hit as hard as they wanted to, right? We can see that even though what's the game that they made for Xbox? I forget right now. The
you're talking
Overdrive?
about the,
Sunset Overdrive.
Yeah, Sunset Overdrive. Yep.
Yeah, like that was a fun game, but it was them trying something different, right? And it didn't quite hit as hard as they wanted to.
Right.
But that was where they really kind of understood fast speed and motion in games, and that's where we got Spider-Man from, right? So they were able to kind of like set that up and learn and keep progressing from there. So in the end of the day, you do see a lot of like good games come out of certain developers. Like right now, what is it? The Playground Games, they're gonna do Fable now. Now I would love to see that. I want to see what people that used to do a car game, a racing game, what they're gonna do now with action RPG type of game, right?
Yeah, right. It's totally, it's like LeBron going to the NFL. It's like what's happening here? And it's like by caliber, you should do good because you look at LeBron, you're like, that motherfucker could be a wide receiver.
Sure.
Or a running back, right? So like you look at that and you're like, that fits. That makes sense. I could see that, but I'm also here in case it don't work.
Yeah, and I just hope that a lot of people don't necessarily jump on things because it's a trend. Like for example, live service games. Like it feels like everyone wants to hit a live service game now. So when you had Crystal Dynamics try to make an Avengers game,
Tragic.
It didn't work out for them.
Horrendous.
Right? And they were making great Tomb Raider games, right? So like they know how to make a good game. They just weren't able to transition over to that type of game. And then same thing right now with Rocksteady, Batman games, and then all of a sudden they try to do something live service and didn't quite hit either, right? So I just hope that more developers can be more creative, can do things within their vision, and they don't have too much of the of Big Daddy money in the bag, telling them, "Hey, you got to have this kind of game because this is what we're looking for." Like, I hope it is more passion projects that come out.
Yeah, because in my opinion, if you look at Suicide Squad, where you pay continuously to, throughout the, throughout the completion of throughout the game, it's like pretty offering you shit, just like when you turn on 2K, like every time you turn on 2K, it's like buy, buy, buy. Compared, to something that didn't ask you to do that at all, Hogwarts Legacy. I can guarantee you Hogwarts Legacy shit all over Suicide Squad money wise and all that.
For
So
sure, I think it was like number one sold game of last year. So
yeah,
absolutely,
entirely, and it was a landslide.
yeah,
It was a landslide. So it's just like you guys just did that, and then you're saying, and then you have the audacity to turn around and say, "Yo, we're gonna actually go more into live service," after you just had the game of what seems like your publishing history,
yeah.
right?
But so interesting about that conversation. It like that goes to show you how scared all of these developers are, because they know that one bad game could belly up. Because yeah, sure, Hogwarts did amazing for them, but they can't guarantee that the next game will be Hogwarts.
Yeah,
And then it's
even if
like,
it's a Hogwarts 2, you can't even guarantee that it's going to hit like that.
you can't, right? So that's why, like, when I remember that when I read the whole statement, it's more of, we need something live service to keep the revenue going, and we're still going to make games that like the Hogwarts, because we need to make both. Like, it's just like stretching your portfolio, right? Like, you need something to give you the ongoing money, and then you need something hopefully that you hit again, like Hogwarts, which honestly, it makes a lot of sense for a lot of these companies right now, because if you're just a developer, you're just making game after game, and then you're hoping that the game hits, right? Somebody like Sony and Microsoft, they're making money on the microtransactions, they're making money on the back end, so they can take certain hits here and there. But one bad game could belly up a company. We're seeing it. We're seeing how people are kind of getting hurt by it. The industry is not. Imagine making a game multi-million-dollars and it doesn't sell towards your projections. Like, what do you do at that point? You're like, oh snap.
Oh, we've seen both Xbox and Sony like pull back hard on some of their games. Sony's like, yo, we're not even going to allow Last of Us to come out. We're not going to allow
Yeah.
the new Spider-Man to come out. You've seen Xbox, how technically Redfall was supposed to be a live service game.
Yeah, I mean,
and they stripped the live service out and said, take the rest of this shit.
Yeah, it's just such a weird time right now, man. It really is. And thankfully Sony hit with a live service, right? They got Helldivers, so that was a hit for them. Microsoft trying to make Pal World their live service. They trying to do everything to be like, hey, yo, Pal World, yo, you remember us, baby? Let's work together. Let's do something. So it's an interesting time for gaming right now.
Yeah, Ray Chi says right here, he says, no, right now everyone wants to make a samurai game, just like last decade everyone wanted to make a Viking game. And you're also seeing the trend of survival games as well.
True.
Where it's just like you got 7 Days to Die, you got Ark, you got Pal Worlds coming out. Dune is going to be coming out, within the next year and a half or something like that. I know I'm missing a ton of other survival games, but it's just like there becomes these trends almost where some of these companies try to follow the trend and end up just being another room where there's a lot of noise, but you don't really hear anything.
Yeah, for sure. And even going towards that samurai game, I believe the next Assassin's Creed is supposed to be a samurai game.
Right.
So there is a chase, once you get a trend, everybody kind of wants to have a piece of that pie.
Well, the thing is, Assassin's Creed, in my opinion, this is like make or break for them, because they can't come out and be way less quality than a Ghost of Tsushima, because everybody said Ghost of Tsushima was what they've been asking Assassin's Creed to do for the longest time. So now that Assassin's Creed is stepping up to the plate, we're like, yo, somebody else already hit a home run, dog. You sure? You sure you want to try to swing the bat
Yeah.
at this dog? Good luck. You might
Yeah.
have wanted to stay in your lane. I don't know.
And you know what's crazy to me is that there actually is a giant fan of Ubisoft games. You know, however way we look at it, their games sell. They
I like
understand.
Ubisoft. I like
Yeah, they understand, like, you know, their market, right? Like they're able to kind of bring the game out, drop the sale price pretty quickly soon after, right? Like their games don't stay top dollar for long. They sell microtransactions like crazy on them. They caught me dirty at one time with Assassin's Creed Odyssey. They made me pay for that double XP, and I felt so dirty when I did it. I was like,
but
oh
you did it.
Lord. I was like, why did I do this? But I enjoyed the game so much when I did it. And then when Valhalla came out, I refused to do it on Valhalla, and I didn't enjoy my game as much. I'm like, yo, these guys, they're suckers, bro. They make the game so you want to like buy stuff. So crazy time right now, man.
Yeah, this man said, I'm gonna take a step back, and he's like, oh, I see y'all motherfuckers. Y'all. You're gonna take a step back and look at the whole picture and be like, oh, you dirty bitch.
Facts.
But shout out to Ubisoft. I do enjoy quite a bit of their games. Some of them are definitely like drawn out to be like a little overly, I don't know, just like a little too ambitious, I'd say sometimes. Sometimes I want it to be like it's so large and open that like there gets to be a point where it's like, man, I wish it was a little bit more linear, just a little bit more linear, because this is wild. The element of freedom that they give you in that game, or not that game, but in the games that they make, is sometimes a little much. But the one thing you can't say about them is I didn't get enough.
Yeah, that's a fact right there. And if you really think about it, an average consumer could probably buy an Ubisoft game and it might last them like half a year or maybe even the whole year.
I was gonna say some people don't like a whole generation with one Ubisoft game. I don't know how many people I've seen playing Odyssey for years. You know, and that's a great game. Odyssey is a great game. So I don't doubt that people do that. Same with what is it called? The one that had the New York expansion with the summit. I'm tripping over the name of the game. The shooter. Bullet sponges.
Oh, the Division.
Yeah, he is that bullet sponges. Got him right there.
Yeah, once you said bullet sponge, I'm like, oh, Division, hey.
Yeah, the Division, that game right there will suck your life away.
Yeah, I played that game quite a bit, so I agree.
Yes, man, I did the whole summit, all 100 plus floors.
Whoa.
And that shit was repetitive, but I had a lot of fun. Still. The Far Cry games, love that. What is it? I don't love Watch Dogs like I used to back in the day. But what's the other game that I'm thinking of? They have hit or miss. They have Wildlands on it, Breakpoint.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to remember what the name of the game is called.
Besides Far Cry, that's the only other game I really engaged with theirs. I remember buying that that like BMX type of game that they had. I forget, like Riders Republic. Yeah,
Riders Republic. Yep.
I played that one for a good while.
It was microtransaction crazy, but it was nice. Like they tried to say, yo, we got an update for a new hoverboard, and I was like, oh, I'm re-downloading this joint, and I seen it was a microtransaction. I was like, delete.
Yeah, thanks.
Never mind. Yeah, Ghost Recon was the name, and man, talk about wishing a game was linear. I love the linear Ghost Recons more than the
Immortals.
Immortals Phoenix Rising is one of my favorite last Ubisoft games, or Ubisoft games of this generation, I should say, because that game was pretty much Tears of the Kingdom, not Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild, without the swords and stuff breaking. And I loved
Yeah, that game was actually so. I mean, I'm gonna say right now, I didn't beat the game. It's just one of those games like you pick up and play for a while, at least for myself. But I really liked the direction that they were going with it. Once you start seeing how they're doing a twist on those Greek gods and everything that they were doing with it, and what was it? Zeus and is it Zeus and Poseidon that were the narrators? It was somebody, Zeus and somebody. But that was always fun. Like I thought it was actually a pretty good mix to it all. And that's the problem with new IP that sometimes they bring out new IP and people aren't really gonna jump on it. Like I think in Immortals 2 would have been dope, but I don't think
Yo,
we'll
the
ever see it.
ambition that they had for Immortals 2 was crazy.
Oh, did they talk about it?
Yeah. They talked about here. Let me pull it up real quick. But yeah, Phoenix Rising 2. Yeah, we got about 20 more minutes, and then we're gonna about 20-25 more minutes before we get up out of here. But
Sure.
but I just wanted to talk about this in particular. Immortals of Phoenix Rising 2. God damn it. My computer's running hella slow right now. There you go.
Yo, and shout out to Chips and Stick because yeah, Ghost Recon, especially the early ones, they were so good, man. Like the way that you were always telling your squad to move around and hey, you go. I think that was actually now that I think about it, I think that was the first games that ever really did that. I could be wrong, but I think they might be the first games to ever have like squad commands. I thought that was like pretty awesome. How they used to do that.
All right, so it says, all right, originally Gods, titles Gods and Monsters, Immortals Phoenix Rising launched, 2020, yada yada. Immortal Phoenix Rising 2 was supposed to be set to try to come out in July of 2022.
Damn.
Yeah, right. So they got way behind on that one. And they probably ended up spending too much money on it. But I know that they were supposed to have more of like a Souls like kind of aspect to it, bigger
Ooh.
attacks, more realistic fidelity to the game instead of like the super cartoony thing that they were going for. Um, so it seemed like they were just getting ambitious on this, but then they kind of backed off because of what you kind of got done describing a little bit is like all the risks that come out with it. And then you go to Best Buy and you look at Immortals Phoenix Rise, it's like $8,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and they give it away like everywhere nowadays, or you get it through like a Game Pass or you get it through whatever, it's just not they don't have any real value on the game. They're just moving on with it. But anyone that plays this is still pretty cool and funny enough I'm talking about like new IP that gets hurt and that other one Immortals of what is it? Avon?
Immortals
Avium?
of Avium, yeah.
Yeah, that game, didn't do as well as they
$5
wanted to.
too. It's like $8.
Unfortunate, new IP. That's why going back to that Insomniac conversation, I get scared when I think about somebody making a new game all the way through and through. Like, but maybe an Insomniac could work because of the fact that they're a known creator. Because somebody like Naughty Dog, any game that they come out with, it's like, oh, that's the new Naughty Dog game. So studios, I guess, could kind of work off of their pedigree.
Yeah, and I also feel like it has a lot to do with just, I mean, as you said, it was the whole like, nerve sing and whatnot of this, but also you got to think of the timing in which these games come out. I thought it was so detrimental when Immortals of Avium said, "Hey, we got to delay our game." I was like, "You guys are cooked." As soon as you guys said you have to delay your game, the window that they were already in, which was supposed to be mid-July of last year, was like the best you could have got, right? Because
Mm.
it's like a little after Diablo, enough after Diablo to give you some time to hop in and do a new game, try it out. It was after Jedi Survivor, after Tears of the Kingdom, but most importantly, it was supposed to be before Remnant 2. It was supposed to be before the From Software game what am I? Damn. Armored Core. It was
Oh yeah.
supposed to be before, not the same week of the Game of the Year title that Baldur's Gate. It was supposed to be before, not the week of Starfield. It fucked itself up by delaying itself and just that one extra month of delaying that game cooked it completely. So just if you were even thinking about playing that game, like even me, because I wanted to buy that game at launch. I wanted to get Immortals of Avium at launch. But when they delayed it, I seen that they delayed it within like 6 days of Starfield, and I was like, sorry.
Cooked.
Yeah. I've been waiting for Starfield for years. This game I just heard about last year. Like, it's just like, sorry. And then on top of that, Remnant was hot. Everybody was loving Armored Core. Baldur's Gate was screaming. Like there just ain't no way that a game that's a new IP, that's an EA original title, that doesn't have any sort of, credit to it in the street. It has no credibility to anybody at all. The only thing that had credibility towards was like the person that created the game just so happened to be one of the creators of Dead Space. And he had a good crew with him from Telltale and stuff like that. Like he had like everything together, and then he shit the bed on the delivery with it being so close to all these games that were sought after or sequels.
Yeah, like things like that always make me interested to find out what happened, because I know like people like us, like we're sitting on the sidelines, and right now it's very like we're talking 2020, right? Like this is hindsight, we get to really look at it. But I sometimes I really want to sit in these rooms and think what it is that they're thinking, right? Like, is it hey, maybe we just need a little bit more month to polish this up, or hey, maybe we could take this time and then we'll do a blitz of this, and then maybe our game is different enough from these games that maybe somebody buys it, right? Like it could be so many things on it, but in the end of the day, yeah, it looks like that's what it was, that they just got squeezed out. Like there was just nothing that they could really do right there.
I was telling some folks that Immortals of Avium is a top 10 game in 2021, 2022.
God damn.
It is.
I haven't played it, so I wouldn't know, but you're telling me, then damn.
It's a top 10 game of those years, because those years were so like they had some good games in them, but they had a lot of dry spots.
True.
Last
whatever
year,
the year of It Takes Two winning, I forget which year that was.
That was 2021.
There you go.
That was 2021. Yeah, so I'm saying like that year it would have been hot, right? But thinking about it this year, pretty much, or last year, thinking about last year, anything after March was cooked. If it wasn't a big time title, it was good that Hi-Fi Rush came out when it did.
Yeah, fair enough.
If Hi-Fi Rush would have came out in the summer, it would have been cooked.
True. I mean, last year was really wild with games. It might go down in history with some of the greatest years. So anything that came out last year cooked.
It does. And what's crazy is I think this year's starting off better than last year. Well, for all sides. Look at, I mean, for Xbox, you got a ton of games coming out. You got Senua's coming back out to play. You got the new arrival of Indiana Jones coming back out. You got Avowed that's hitting the streets and whatnot. Placed and then at the beginning of the year, they kicked it off with a great partnership with Power Worlds. Sony's kicking it off pretty well. They got Final Fantasy that just came out to high ratings. You got Helldivers 2 that came out hot on the scene as well. Stella Yams is right around the corner.
I'm gonna say this real quick though, because now you dropping names. I was waiting for the one name that you didn't drop yet, but I'm gonna say this right now in front of your audience, in front of the people, the folk.
Well, let it happen.
Dragon's Dogma 2 is my right. I'm not saying overall, but it's probably my game of the generation.
Ooh,
I would just put that out there.
Why are you not the first person to tell me that?
Because whoever told you that can understand. All right. It is that kind of game for me. Not
That's
for
all
everybody
that
else.
people are seeing in the background right now. Is that gameplay?
Dude, that game to me is a fantasy adventure simulator to me. That's how I play that game. That game to me is like everything I thought of when, I read fantasy books when I was younger, thinking about how it would feel like to go off on an adventure and then have all these random things happen to me along the way. That's what this game is, and it's doing it in a way that calls to me like a game hasn't before. A game almost like I wanted Starfield to do for me, but this is the game that's exciting me.
Which has me interested because that Shattered Space is supposed to come out later this year. The DLC for Starfield, and I'm wondering what's all going to come with that. But as of right now, I mean, I can't even be mad at somebody. Because one of my boys, one of my main homies, are like, "Yo, this right here, this game right here is like." He played the first one all the way up until this one came out because he was just excited for it, and he was just like, "Yo, I don't know if this is gonna hit." Because like this game is like the first one was nice and whatnot, but he was just like, I don't know. It's like although it's kind of open world, it's still pretty linear. But this game right here is like really, really open. I mean, you go to caves, there ain't no cut, there is no loading. Like you play Dragon's Dogma 2, you loading going into all the caves and all the different areas and whatnot. In this game, it's just seamless, and I mean, I'm a huge fan of Starfield, yo, but the seamlessness in this game is kind of what I expected Starfield to be.
Listen, if Starfield had that feeling overall, like they kept you on that driver's seat the whole time, right? Like you busted out into like essentially what No Man's Sky was doing. But if Starfield was able to take that portion from No Man's Sky, I think Starfield could have taken it to the next level for me. I know some folk they're just like, oh no, it's perfect the way it is. Hey, that's fine. I really wanted to have that more immersive feeling of, in and out wherever I go. And knowing that I could just go around the planet. But look, in the end of the day, it's just the creation engine. It's just reaching its peak. It's not much you can do with a space game. But hopefully, whatever they do moving forward with Elder Scroll 6, right? That's the
Right.
next
Yep.
one.
Yep.
Hopefully they figure something out by that transition because I really hope they don't do the same thing.
No doubt. No doubt. So I'm actually gonna skip ahead past the PS4 and Xbox One and PS5 and Series S and X. I'm gonna skip past those two because we're kind of running out of time.
Yeah.
And I still want to get those quick hitter questions out to you that I ask everybody every episode. But I gotta ask you now with in my opinion, it's still like I feel like we're like halfway into this generation, even though the outlets and it seems like the platforms itself are telling us that we're more on the latter side of it, right? I got to ask you with the reports of the next Switch coming out possibly next year, Xbox, handheld possibility, and more PC accessibility, and PlayStation with the Pro, and the VR going to PC, which I think should have been what they did from the start because it would have sold way better, and I would probably have one. And I like to be able to, you know, it when I'm in VR, I'd rather be at my computer desk. To be honest, when I'm playing VR, I'd rather be at my computer desk because I'm familiar with my space. But when I'm out in front of my TV, I can flip a table or something like that. I don't know what's going on over there, right? But the PlayStation VR 2 looks extremely dope, and I still want one. I just wanted it to be more functional than because I feel like if I got it, I'd be playing like Gran Turismo. That's kind of
Oh, for sure. That's
but
why I bought it.
Okay, so you're following me. But on my PC, I would like it to be open and more accessible to where I could play like a flight sim with it on there or something like that. So I'm looking for more openness with it. But with all that stuff that I just got done saying about the Nintendo, the Xbox, and the PlayStation, they all have a future ahead of them, clearly. I gotta ask you kind of what you think about each one of them in particularly separately.
Like each platform's future.
Yeah. Just how you feel the optics on it, and like if you're excited for the next piece of hardware or whatnot.
So not really, but kind of, right? So the reason I answer like that is because I mean, for one, I do have a really good PC. I have a 4090 PC, top of the line.
Cooking.
So I'm cooking. So whatever I can play on this, I will play on this.
So
Which
even if it's a
means
brand new PlayStation title, you playing it over there instead of on the PlayStation, if you can.
possibly. So that's why, to me, at least the all the consoles nowadays, they're my exclusivity machine. That's I'm gonna buy it because I want to play something that I know that I can only play there. So at least for Switch, I'm excited because at least with the Super Nintendo Switch, rumors are it's gonna have that upscaling technology. Games are gonna look better. If I can play like Zelda and whatever new game comes out on there, the new Mario Karts, whatever, in better
That's an early
fidelity,
acquisition for you.
I'm getting it. Absolutely. So at least I'm on the uptick with that one. With PlayStation, um, I don't know. I don't know where I'm going to be with PlayStation moving forward. I got my PlayStation. By the way, these are bootleg plates from China, right over here.
They look exactly like the other ones. I literally thought that was the same thing. So good job. Good on you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. They look.
Say that money,
good.
bro. Say that money.
Well, you can't even buy it. I couldn't even buy the damn thing, so that's why I had to go elsewhere. But anyways,
I think the D brand. I personally like the D brand plates.
They look good, but I wanted something that looked like the Spider-Man.
I feel you.
Yeah. But anyways, with that being said, I mean, PlayStation, they're always going to be the home of games that I love. I love PlayStation exclusives, however way you look at it, up and down. But with the amount of games I have, I'm starting to consider maybe I could just wait. I don't know.
Oh.
Maybe. And then with Xbox,
games are stacking up.
Whatever they got going on, Xbox, they're talking about possibly letting new storefronts in, which sounds like they're trying to go more of PC route, kind of like something like a Steam Deck. So that's going to be very interesting what they do moving forward. If they can find out a way to have like dual entitlement throughout all their games, that hey, if I buy an Xbox game, I'm going to get both the Xbox and the PC version, and if they can do that throughout all the games that they make, then maybe I start investing more in the platform. But besides that, like the new games that they got going on, yeah, I'm with it. I'm gonna like the Bethesda games. I want to see what Senua's, Hellblade 2, like these games. They got me excited,
bro.
They got me excited, baby. But at the end of the day, with Xbox, it's more just let me see what they have, and if something interesting comes, I'll jump on it. But that's pretty much it with me with all the systems. But I am a PC main nowadays. I just gotta keep it real.
Yeah, you said times is changing. You know what I'm saying? You already sitting there. You feeling strong right now. You got that 4090, man. You ain't fucking around.
Listen, that money was spent, and that money gets used because those games look amazing with the RTX and all that nonsense on there.
You got the frame generation and all that shit. Yeah, you got the path tracing on. You ain't scared. You ain't scared to hit them. You ain't scared to hit them sliders now. You ain't scared.
You know what I mean? And you need that for Dragon's Dogma because that damn game was not optimized at all.
No, you go into the city, you having a problem.
Half my FPS gone. I'm like, oh Lord, bring it back.
On the strongest GPU out right now. And it is cooking that thing. So I feel bad for anybody with like a 2000 card.
Oh no, they're not doing good, and especially because a lot of it's on the CPU side. That's really kind of messing things up. So, it is what it is with them. But overall, man, I just really love like all games. You know, I play my VR games, my Quest 3. You know, I love jumping on there too. So whatever games, I'm all about that life, baby.
And you got anything under a 3700 or a i5, you in trouble, bro.
Damn, you're not playing good at all.
Nah, man, you doing a lot of timing, more timing than the game is supposed to allot. So I don't know if you ever if you checked out that game, but I got it downloaded on my Steam Deck and I tried to play it on my Steam Deck. I was getting 9 FPS
No way.
the entire time, in and out the city. In the city was actually worse. It was like dropping down to like 5 or 7. But
And
like
you
outside
were
the
like
city,
putting
9
everything on
FPS.
low.
Everything was like off on low. I even turned it to 720 outside of 800 where it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, like y'all got to give me something. And they're like, nah.
They said no for you.
Yeah.
Damn.
No two for you. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
but anyways, all right. So let's go on ahead and get to some of these quick hitter questions so we can get up out of
For
here.
sure.
I know you just got off of work a little while ago, so you trying to kick back and play some games and whatnot probably, and I'm trying to turn back on Dragon's Dogma and continue free. So let me go on ahead and hit these quick hitters real quick with you. So like the first one I'm gonna ask you, which I love these questions. I love asking these. The first one I gotta ask you is, first of all, throughout all the systems, I don't ask this question all the time. Throughout all the systems that you ever owned throughout your life, which one's probably the most beloved?
Most beloved is absolutely the SNES. I mean, that was just the pinnacle of games for me that I can still go back today and still love.
And that console's indestructible.
It's a brick, you know. You could toss it. You hurt somebody, and it's still gonna go.
Death with that thing. Cut it on real quick and do a quick run through afterwards.
Hell yeah, that's the Nokia phone of consoles.
Facts, absolutely facts. That and the 64, those motherfuckers right there could withstand some damage. But anyways, the next one I'm gonna ask you is what gaming genre do you not enjoy that much? Like if I were to pop up at your crib like Jehovah, right? And I'm saying support this, and you just slam the door. Like what's the game that you slam, or what's the genre that you like get the fuck up off of my porch?
So nowadays there's two genres. One like all the time, and another like kind of. Number one, the kind of one is fighting games. I don't really do fighting games much anymore, just because.
So no Tekken.
I don't really care for the learning all the combos again. Like that was when I was younger. Like I used to love that stuff, but not much anymore.
And then on top of it, all the stress that it induces.
Nah, man, I'm good. But I will play like, you know, some of the story modes just to see, you know, how it plays out. But I'm not gonna play it very long. But the number one genre I don't mess with puzzle games. I don't do it. I won't do it. Like the game The Witness. I don't know if you ever played that game. That game infuriated me. The Witness.
Oh no, I haven't.
Yeah, that was a free game once on PlayStation Plus. That's how I played it. God, never again. No. So definitely won't do that. No hentai games.
I didn't even know hentai games existed, Sonny. Like, what you doing? What kind of research you doing?
I'm like, if you play on PC, you see they're there all the time. It's ridiculous.
I guess you're right. Steam is nasty with it.
They have it all there.
You can find some games that are like brushing up against racism and shit. Like you can find some wild shit on Steam where it's just like, I don't understand how this made the storefront, but it's here.
It is wild.
All right, so what's up? I thought you were about to say something.
No, I just said it's wild.
Yeah, okay. So now I'm going to ask you, what are the best 3 games that you played in the last year? So just thinking about the last 365 days, the best 3 games. Whether they're new or not. So they don't have to be new.
Dragon's Dogma 2, for sure.
Okay.
I already talked about that. You know, it's definitely my game of the generation. I'm just all about that game right now.
He's 10
So
toes on that one.
that's that one. A card game called Balatro. I think that's how you pronounce it.
I never
Um,
heard of that.
yeah, it's pretty popular right now on Steam. It's like a $15 game, but it's like a rogue like poker game that is pretty damn cool when you play it. Like it's just it uses like different jokers as multipliers, and you got to keep doing high scores. If you guys haven't heard of that game and you got PC, go check it out. Like Balatro, like you guys will find it very quickly. Um, and then the third game, I'd probably have to give it to something like um I don't know. I'm kind of mixed on that because right now I feel like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is going to be that for me. But I did stop playing with Dragon's Dogma 2. But as I was playing it, I was loving everything about that game. Like it is taking me back in a way that I wish that's how it looked back in the day. Like I'm loving Rebirth right now. So it might be just those three right there.
Okay. So you are gonna give number 3 Rebirth.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it to Rebirth because I was loving everything I played about that game so far.
Was there a different game that was kind of scratching that
Um,
number 3 zone?
Not really, kind of. I mean, you know, you got like the Tears of the Kingdom, but I still haven't put a lot of time into it, even though Breath of the Wild was like one of my favorite games. But with Tears of the Kingdom, I kind of feel like I want to wait for Switch 2 to see if there's like an uptake on the graphics on there because I think that game could use it.
Yeah, I
So
could use a little bit of a little bit of smooth optimization when it comes to like the frame rate and stuff like that.
yeah, especially when you use like Ultra Hand and stuff like that. Like you kind of feel it in some places. So
Yeah, especially those dense kind of like foresty areas.
yep, absolutely. So I was kind of feeling that, you know.
Richie disrespectful. He said just emulate it.
So I have emulated it, but at the same time, there's something about like Zelda games now. I like playing handheld because I do like handheld gaming. So
Okay.
I don't necessarily want to sit in front of a TV for that one.
Okay. Okay. I feel you. Steam Deck.
Oh, I got my Steam Deck, baby. You know, but I want a little, you know, a little
He said
official,
he wants to
baby.
touch the Nintendo though.
I want that little official, baby. You know, I want my cloud saves. You know what I'm saying? So I could always come back to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no problem, no problem. All right. My next question is like one of my top 2 or 3 questions, and that is what is your favorite studio and what game best represents that studio?
Yeah. So funny enough for me, it is Naughty Dog. I don't know how popular that answer is for you. Like you know, people that have
I've heard a lot of people say Naughty Dog, a little less
yeah.
lately because
Okay.
of all the BS that they've kind of been, dealing
Hey,
with and remakes and stuff like that. But
doesn't change anything for me because in the end
sure,
of the day, like to me, Naughty Dog, once like Uncharted 2 came out, they really started like
that
showing
train.
me, hey, these games could be a lot more like cinematic in its presentation and still be really awesome. But it wasn't until The Last of Us Part One that just like really set the bar for myself that I'm just like, oh snap, like these guys are practically making movies you know, with these games, and the gameplay is solid. Everything's just solid around this whole creation. um and now mind you, I don't want every game to be like that. You know, I like games that are just pure gameplay like Dragon's Dogma 2, but I'm a big movie buff as well too, so seeing those two things come together like they did it, yeah, they're my favorite.
No doubt, no doubt. Okay, I can see that. I don't have any problem with that at all. That's a pretty good answer. They are clearly known for multiple reasons, but as of recently, more or less bringing high fidelity to console gaming, which
That
is
they do. Yep.
really important, and it definitely changed the way that you kind of looked at Sony. Sure, Santa Monica did it with God of War and whatnot, but I feel like Naughty Dog did a good job of bringing that human element to it while having all the realisticness and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was just like just the flavor text of it all, like the different atmosphere, places. I mean, the God of War was great, and that's probably like in some of my highest rated games. But for me, The Last of Us just took it to the next level.
Yeah, the seriousness in that story is something that cannot be forgotten. But now I gotta ask you, what are your what's now? I mean, now that you have Dragon's Dogma in your hand, and it's your game of the generation. That's high
Probably.
praise. That's the highest praise that you can give a game. Um, so I gotta ask you, looking forward, as tough as it may be, what are some games that you are really looking forward to, whether they have a release date or not?
So funny enough, I think like my only two real big games that I want to see moving forward are coming from the Xbox camp, which is going to be Fable and Hellblade 2. Like those are the two big next ones that I want. Um, and funny enough, with Hellblade 2, I started getting my hype a little bit more because I went back to the first game and I started playing it in VR because that was actually like
Nuts,
really
right?
cool. And I'm like, man, I really want to get back into this world because this thing looks awesome.
Right.
Um,
You walk in like that. You walk on the little that little plank of wood, trying to walk across, and you in
yeah,
VR and you scanning and looking around the whole area and stuff like that. It looks nice.
yeah.
And it's an old game, right? But it still looks so good.
Oh, especially in VR, like they do a great job to kind of like really bringing that world together. So, I can only imagine what they do with the next one. So I want to follow that story. But then Fable, Fable has been a game that like I honestly don't even remember it. It's been that long. I don't. It's rare for me to like replay some old games, but I remember loving it, and I want to see what they do with the next one. And then, being at this Playground Games, that's really holding my attention. So that's kind of on the top of my list. And outside of that, Stellar Yams, baby. Mm.
You need to relax. No. So you ready for that? You ready for that demo on Friday? Are you gonna be
Yeah.
able? Are you gonna be able to shut off Dragon's Dogma for a little bit? Because I was talking to my boy that I was telling you about that also said this was the game of the generation for him. He's
Yeah.
like, yo, man, I don't know how I'm gonna be able to get on the yams, man. This Dragon's Dogma got me by the neck right now. He's like, he's like, I already, because he already pre-ordered Stellar Yams, because so he already knows he's gonna play it. He got it right. So he was like, yo, I don't know how much of a hurry I am to get in this game. I'm 10 toes right now in Dragon's Dogma, and I was like, I ain't
Facts.
mad at you.
Yeah, like I'm at the stage that maybe I don't buy it on release if I'm still playing Dragon's Dogma.
Ooh.
But Dragon's Dogma, I won't load it up unless I know I have a solid 5-6 hours to play, because it's the kind of game like I'm gonna hammer. Like I can't play it for just half an hour. Like you can't do much on an hour or something like that.
A
At least
half
not
hour
for
is
me.
just a walk.
Yeah, it wouldn't feel right. So I feel like tomorrow I could just grab a quick hour and just go ahead and try the demo out for Stellar Blade and see what it's about.
That is tomorrow. Oh
Yeah.
shit! I lost track of my days ever since I got back from PAX. Man, I've been like in the clouds right now. But
Yes, sir.
yo, is it tomorrow at a specific time or is it at midnight?
Oh, I don't know the time, but I just know it's
I'm checking.
tomorrow.
I'm trying to see them yams at the right time. You know what I'm saying? That face says it all. You completely feel me. All right, so let's go on ahead and keep it moving. We got a couple more of these questions. The next one I'm gonna ask you is because you said the last one was Hellblade and Fable.
Yeah.
You said it in Stellar Yams, of course. Now I like this. This is probably my favorite question of all of them I have. I want you to think about two dead IP games and revive them. What are those two games?
So one of them is F-Zero. I want to see F-Zero come back in
Well,
the
F-Zero is coming.
A new F-Zero?
Well, it's like a live service, like 100 player.
No, 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 no. I don't want no live service F-Zero. I want like a
This man
legit.
said, "Give me an actual game."
Yeah, yeah. I want like an F-Zero, like like legit. Like this is almost like you saying, hey, I want a new Batman. Oh well, the Suicide Squad's coming out. No, don't give me that nonsense. Give me something good. Like what I'm looking for, right? So I want to see that, right?
He
Like I
don't want
want to see
he
like
said he don't
that
want no
level of.
side hustle. He wants a real game.
Yeah, man. Don't give me that nonsense, man. That's why a lot of gamers are pushing back. We don't want to hear that, live service kind of stuff on games, man. We just want something really good.
Mm.
Well, at least for our taste, right? I don't know. For our taste.
All right, so you said the one game, right?
That was one game. And then funny enough, we did touch on the other game because Resistance Fall of Man is a series I want to see come back. And I'm telling you right now, like that game I've spent so much time in. I love that it almost has that Ratchet and Clank feel, but like in the first person shooter. I need that game in my life, dude.
Yeah, and actually have the button for shooting be a correct button instead of R1.
Yeah,
Nobody
dude.
wants
Like,
to shoot with R1.
listen, times were different. All right, they had to change a lot of
Facts.
things over time.
Facts. Yeah. There were times where we were using face buttons to shoot, right? We were using
Facts.
like A or X or square or something like that. I mean, hell, Metal Gear, you got to hold square.
True. Like I'm playing a game right now. Or where I started it. Oh man, I forget what it's called now. Like it's a military game, older game. Actually, I probably shouldn't have brought it up because I don't remember the name. I think it's called like Frontline, something like that. But you can see the controls of these older games. Like sometimes they just don't translate as well. Like they were really trying to make it work, but it didn't work. At least not in modern times.
Like Medal of Honor Frontline.
No. It's I'm actually trying to look through my list right now because I feel like I shouldn't have brought it up without knowing the name. Because I don't know if it was like Frontline. God, I feel dumb right now.
What generation of consoles was it on?
I think it was like the 360 PS3 era. Okay, I really shouldn't have brought this up. Oh man, it was like it was in the Desert Storm kind of like era.
So is it Conflict?
Oh, I got it. No. Okay, I'm sorry. You see, I didn't remember the name, but now I see it right now. Spec Ops: The Line. That's the game.
Yo, okay, so you playing, you playing that Gears of War type of army shooter. Got you.
Yeah. Like those controls are weird.
That story's fucked up.
That's why I heard. That's why I bought it. I missed it completely back in the day. And then it was like going on sale recently. So I say, hey, let me jump on this and try it out. And it's been pretty cool so far.
I'm gonna tell you right now, the last couple hours of that game just had me like,
damn, like that.
Last few hours of that game just had me like just had some emotions going on. Like, really?
Damn.
Nah. Like it had you kind of running like replaying things in your head that you did.
Whoa. See, I'm playing that one on my Steam Deck. So I've been playing that one like more handheld, and it works because it's an older game, so it looks good enough on it.
It's real nice, but yeah, there's a reason they didn't let you record that game and stuff like that on Xbox. That game's wild. It is wild, right. especially the last few hours. It will definitely have you thinking like, wow.
Damn. You see, everyone says that. That's why I had to like buy it. I'm like, all right, I gotta see what's up. They're like, yo, it's one of the best stories, man. I'm telling you. I'm like, all right, cool.
Military wise, absolutely. It really kind of makes you feel like a soldier making decisions that you don't always want to make.
Mm.
And you can kind of
And
notice that with the lead up, but like I said, the last few hours,
yeah, that's how
you'll
I'm feeling
really
right now. Like, it's just they're kind of put into this and they're just like trying to survive right now. Everything feels very like espionage, but still trying to get out. That's what it feels like right now. So we'll see. I'll report to you, on the timeline. I'm gonna be like, oh, I'm playing the last few hours. It's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. Let a brother know for sure. Let a brother know. All right. So now we're down to our last couple of questions. Now, so the first one I'm going to ask you is, what about video games in general? Just any part of the business, whether it's fanfare or the actual development or the reporting on it, anything like that. What kind of pisses you off or kind of gets under your skin, or something that you just don't really like about gaming?
Yeah, like obviously I've been playing games a long time, and really it is the monetization creep into all these games nowadays. Like it just feels like you can't even escape it. Even if it is a game like Dragon's Dogma 2, which the monetization really doesn't do much for you. Like if you never spend $1, you never really got to do anything, and you probably
You
won't even
barely
feel
even
it.
notice that there's monetization in the game. Like somebody had to tell me that there was microtransactions in it. And I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I didn't even notice that store." The store button in that game is almost like credits. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, do you want to watch the credits? No.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I mean, it's a thing like you could 100% avoid, right? It's not a game like an Ubisoft game where you load it up and the first thing they'll tell you is like, by the way, did you know that you can get this great horse armor? Like, yo, chill, back up. Um, but that's what pisses me off
Okay.
about modern day gaming. It's just more of the monetization creep in games, even if it's not like fully blatant. It's like you they're going to want to make more money off outside of the original purchase, and that kind of pisses me off.
Right. Yeah, I can totally see that. Or more or less like a monetization piece of a game that almost feels like now I'm getting the whole game after I bought the game, kind of feeling like that shit's. And it kind of goes to what I was talking about with Riders Republic, right? Downloaded it because they said that they had a new DLC and ended up just, or not a DLC, but they had a new way to ride and get around, and ended up being something that I had to purchase. I just deleted the game again. I was just like, nah, man, I already spent damn near full price for this game, and this game is, like $15 now. So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
definitely
it
not
just
buying
doesn't
anything else.
feel good.
Nah, nah. But on the flip side of that, so now we got, what gets under your skin. I gotta ask you what would be a dream come true. And I want you to be a little selfish with this. So what would be a dream come true for Link in the gaming space?
So this one's kind of because when you're talking about dream come true, I'm taking this to the next level right now,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, take it.
Um, I can't wait till the primary way of control is not controller anymore. I don't know if that'll happen in my lifetime, but that would be amazing if the thoughts that you put out were actually controlling it, or maybe it was a more natural kind of like things that you put on your fingers, like Ready Player Now, or Ready Player One. I'm sorry, the
Right.
Ready Player Now, Ready Player One, where like you don't have a controller in your hand, you're like you're moving within space and grabbing and interacting in a way that feels more natural, right? Like that to me would be
Yeah,
the
Gamer was like
peak
that too, the movie.
pinnacle. Which one?
Gamer, the movie Gamer.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Like that to me is like I would love to survive until that time. I want to experience what that feels like. Because like I'll have a game like Half-Life Alex, right? I don't know if you played it. That game just it blows my mind at the potential of where VR and like these interactive worlds could actually be. And I would love to see what that world looks like once it gets more developed. So that's my selfish wants.
Yeah, man, I would like that type of interactivity with the staying power of a Bethesda game. So you know how
Oof.
when you move a cup, it's there
Oof.
until you move it again. Wouldn't that be crazy?
Damn. We're talking about, like, look, Ready Player One to me set the bar of what kind of like virtual space world I would love to see, because I'm sure that happens there, Hey, I parked my car over here. Let me come back 2 weeks later and my car's still in that virtual space, right? Like, I would love to see that in gaming some way, somehow.
No doubt, no doubt, no doubt. But Link, brother, thank you so much for coming through, being part of the channel, being an episode on here, throwing your story out there, how you became a gamer, what you like about gaming, what you don't like about gaming, what you're looking forward to, and all that. We knocked out all of those different subjects this evening. Please, for one more time, let everybody know where they can find a link to the past.
Hey, thank you for having me on once again. And you guys can definitely find me on x.com, a link to the past. I'm there too much. I'm there talking about games, chopping it up. So you guys can find me on that. You can find my YouTube link. It is there as well too. I don't do it as often, but every once in a while I might have a topic I want to talk about. So I'll throw a video up there, just to kind of like put something on there. And I used to have some skits I used to do, which, they're there. And then you guys can find me also doing some tech review for some game stuff at Gamer Gear on YouTube as well too. So, I do a little bit of all that.
Okay. All right. So there's definitely some places where you can find Brother Link right here. That's what's up. Thank you again for being on the show. And you guys that are watching, thank you so much for hanging out, kicking it with your boy Ham Solo and Link this evening. I know we're a little later than we usually start the show and whatnot or whatever. But it's all good. I'm happy to accommodate Brother Link and also get him onto the channel. And I definitely hope this isn't the last time I have you out here. I definitely would like to get you onto one of our panel shows and whatnot. If you got time on a Friday or something like that, we could, figure out some things in the background.
Eastern time, right?
Yeah. I use Eastern time, even though I'm living in the Central. I live in the Lord's time in the Central time. But I always use Eastern time because half the time I tell people 7 o'clock, they automatically think it's Eastern. So now I just say Eastern first and foremost. And of course, the time I say it, you're thinking Central, and I'm like, God damn it. So it just kind of depends on where people say, but I try to make it very evident that I'm using Eastern time. But it was a blast having you here. I learned a lot about you. And like I said, I hope to get you back on in the future to talk to you. Chips and Sticks, I still need to get brother out here doing the damn thing. I'd love to, I'd love to chop it up with him as well. He's a good dude.
He's an okay dude. Don't overplay him.
There's a disrespect. I love it. Need it. But anyways, brother, I always close the show out like this. I want you now to just tell me how you would describe gaming in just 3 words.
I love gaming.
Simple.
That's it, baby. It's what my life is, baby. I love gaming. All right. And it's that strong of a feeling for me. And it's the simplest 3 words you can use to describe it.
Yes, I love it. I love it, man. And yeah, again, thank you so much for giving me your time and your attention and whatnot. Same to those of you that are coming through, checking out the show, whether you've been here the whole time or you're just stopping in just now. I appreciate you for giving me a moment of your day to give you a bit of information about another dope dude within the gaming space.
Except for Chips and Sticks.
except for Chips and Sticks. But anyways, this is your boy Ham Solo 05 Gaming signing out with you guys on the TSWS Gaming YouTube channel. You can check us out tomorrow for an episode of Bullsitting that we do every Friday. Panel show with me, Lope, Cozy Beluga, Matt Likes Games, and usually a guest or two. As of recently, we've been having Mental come through quite a bit. He's been kicking it with us, chopping it up, talking about his gaming experiences as of lately. But definitely be sure to come through as well for the future episodes of Behind Them Sticks. And next week, I got Uso Vinny coming through. That should be a good episode. I also have some pretty star-studded people coming in the near future. Some people from like FunCon Games, the people that brought you like Metal Hellsinger and also the new Dune game that's coming out. Also, I'm going to be talking to Mr. Salim, the gentleman that's coming out with the brand new game Tales of Kenzera. I'll be talking with him here in the next month or so. I'll have a better date for you guys here in the near future about that. I just got done, having an email with him and chopping it up and talking about times and stuff like that. So I'll have better times for you guys with that. But I appreciate you guys so much for coming through here. This is your boy Ham Solo 05 Gaming signing out from TSWS Gaming, letting y'all know to keep it gaming or keep it moving. Peace.